On this LensVid Talk, we're looking at small lights, small fans, and big cinematographers. Stick around.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Art.
Hey, all, Ida.
And today we're doing LensVid Talk 19.
That's right.
So we have, as usual, a lot of topics. This one, I think, is a little bit lighter than the previous one. Last time we had all sorts of
Big
cameras
news,
and
yeah.
big news. And this one is going to be a little bit lighter. And the first thing that I want to start with are two products that we're currently testing, using, or have been using for a while. The first one is this really interesting. This was announced, I think, sometime in the middle of last year. It's called the Inkee Gold Crown. It's basically a, how would you describe it? Flashlight?
It's a flashlight form factor, but it's a COB light, LED light,
Yeah.
right? And it's very compact, pretty powerful for its size, and it has an interesting Bowen's mount feature that collapses for traveling or for storage.
Yeah, let me try and open it because it's sometimes a little bit strange. No, this time around it opens fairly nicely. So when you open this, basically you get a Bowens, and when this is closed, you get what looks like a mini Bowens. But I actually tested this, and at least with our, because we have a couple of mini Bowens attachments, it didn't work. This is a little bit too big because the mini Bowens is smaller, so it goes like up to here or something. But this does fit. This is what came with this unit. So you get this reflector, small reflector. Now, the big Bowens does work. It has some openings in the back because of the design of this, but I don't see this as a big problem. You might get some spill backwards, but okay. We tested this. We got some, I think, pretty solid results. We'll have sort of a hands-on review. We're recording it just after this talk. It has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter-inch with the R-pin threads, which is kind of cool. So you can connect it anywhere you want. Again, the output, just watch the review. We'll talk about that. But there are two things that I do want to mention aside from this Bowens connector. First of all, that it has this screen in the back, but the only way to actually operate it, there are no buttons. The only control mechanism is this ring, which goes strangely between 0 to, hold on, 100%. But if you keep turning it, it goes all the way up to 150. Which I know I haven't seen anything goes up to 150.
Boost mode.
Yeah, sort of a boost mode. And it does get pretty hot. I think it has a fan inside. I think I saw it spinning. It's not noisy at all. It does get somewhat hot when, especially at 150%. I know it's kind of cool. The only thing that I would probably change is the controls. Yeah, I would probably put like an on-off switch, and I know it's 5600 Kelvin only. It will be nice to have a bicolor version. It's very rugged. This is super well built. We in the past I tested. I don't know if you remember the other flashlight sort of LED. That one was designed by a Ukrainian guy, and you can sort of see it's like a handmade sort of device. This is
solid.
This is solid. This is made in a factory. It's very well made. I don't have anything bad to say about it aside from the fact that I'm not sure who the target audience is. I mean, where would you use this for?
Because of the form factor, it's kind of a, I mean, you have to protect the COB somehow, right? So keep that thing on there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of thing you just throw in the backpack, right?
Yeah.
But there's also small new lights available now
with batteries. The whole thing is that this has a battery.
Right.
Now, I haven't mentioned the battery life. I know. Did we test it?
Well, no. No, not
We
specifically
we will
for the
put it on the
battery.
screen, I think, in the review because we haven't tested it yet. But um, I don't know. It's when you compare it, I think it's more powerful than, let's say, the small rig 60 watt that we have tested.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's more concentrated because of the, I think, the nature of the, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, it's more expensive. I think it's how much? 400, something like
Something
that.
like
I'll
that.
put it on the screen, but it's certainly more expensive. Look, it's a very niche thing, but it's kind of nice. What I would really like to see for this, and for whatever reason, Inkee didn't make something for it until now, is a projector attachment.
Yeah, that'd
D-
be great because this form factor would
exactly.
it'd be a very small projection
If
attached.
if we can make like a really small projection attachment with gobos and all the other like accessories and gels and stuff, that could be really cool. Like, let's say that the projection attachment could be a- about the same size, slightly
Right.
longer. It can be really cool. You can
Still
have
very
like a
light.
really
Yeah.
small projection attachment. For example, if you want to shoot like products and you want to light just the text on the wine bottle, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that can be super cool. And you sometimes when you have like you shooting products, you don't want to use like very large lights, because like you have a small place and you have to,
Yeah,
you know,
because of the setup, because
yeah.
of yeah.
So this can be ideal for that. And for that, I would use it. But I know we will probably get. I think iFootage has this relatively small projection attachment. This is Bowens, so
Mm-hmm.
you can connect a Bowens to this
You can
and
try
see
it.
what you will get out of it. I know. So that's the Inkee Gold
Gold crown.
Crown. Yeah, it's a 30 watt light, so it's not 60. How much was the small rig? Do you remember? It was 60
Uh,
or 40.
which one? Oh, the
The one
little
that we seen in IBC.
IB. Oh, that one we don't have. Yeah, I think it was a 60. We also have the Xeon 40, a
Yeah.
60, and the um the 40 with the battery. I forget who makes it.
Hmm.
Can't
It says here the
Alonzi, I
battery
think.
capacity is 71 watt hour, so, or 4800 milliamps.
That's not
So
bad for 30 watts. It should last a while. I
we
mean,
will we
it's
will
it's
test
very
it.
bright for 30 watts. It's
No,
very
it's really bright because it's very concentrated, and
yeah.
with, I think, with the reflector, it's actually
Yeah.
pretty strong. So yeah, the second thing, this is not going to merit a full review. I don't know, maybe we'll do something short, but this is another one of Nightcore's fan system. It's called
Mm-hmm.
the whole series, I think, is called Cinewind,
Mm-hmm.
and we tested the big one. This one is much smaller. It has this really cute handle,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's basically a fan, like a hair fan sort of thing for
Mm-hmm.
photography, videography, whatever. This is surprisingly powerful. The other one was insanely
Yeah,
powerful,
it
but
is.
for the size,
Yeah.
I'm using just the weakest NPF battery possible. This will also work with, I think it has a USB
USB-C.
C, so you can connect it to the power and it will work. Again, they have this strange concept. This is going to get loud, so excuse me.
Don't blow me away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can
Yeah, that was 100%. So you need to long press it to make it work. There is a tiny screen in here. Really, really cool. The only thing that I would change, honestly, is that this has a 1/4 inch in here.
Mm.
For whatever reason, they didn't do a 1/4 inch in here. Now, that might sound like a nitpicky sort of thing, but if you want to attach it in a way that it will not interfere with the model, this will, like, the longer side will be a much better place than this
Mm-hmm.
side, and there is no way of switching them. So and you can of course remove this. I can remove the handle, and this has like RA pin holes and this has RA pins, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice small handheld fan. I think I'm not sure the price. I think they wrote it to me. I'll write it on the screen. I think it's It's worth it if you're looking for something like that. Again, it's noisy, so it's not for videos with audio. But if you just want, a little bit of like hair, how would you call it, movement in your
Dynamics.
shot, yeah,
Yeah.
that will work. So that's pretty cool. So now we can move over to some news or some products on the news. This time around, no cameras, no big lens announcements. It's all like small accessories and software and stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is the Matthews LB2 location baby bracket.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how new it is. I think from the last month or so. This thing is basically designed to be an attachment accessory with a baby pin to connect to
Any
poles.
posts, any
Yeah, something like that. I think it
Any
can
f-
also you can also connect it to like a table or a flat surface with screws.
yeah, exactly. It has screw holes, so you can basically put it on
So
any
it can be like a baby
wall.
plate, basically, but also connect very easily to
Right. It's
a
it's
pole.
either or, of course. If you
Yeah,
have it mounted on the wall with screws, you're not gonna move it from there.
yeah,
But you can place something.
yeah.
We have
We have
similar ones, like
no,
but
we have the flat ones. Yeah,
right, where it's just a flat base, it screws onto
I
the wall.
use them all the time.
This
Yeah,
one is basically a corner
yeah.
plate, and then that can go onto a post, a pole.
And you connect it with. I
It
don't think
has
that it comes with.
straps.
I don't think that it comes with straps, but you
Right.
can connect
It
straps.
has
Yeah,
like lanyard strap slits where you can just
yeah.
get some
I
kind of a
would use some sort of a ratcheted thing because if you connect something heavy like
yeah, you
a
would think.
light or something, you want something strong to hold it. But
It's
yeah,
pretty basic, but it's rugged.
yeah,
It's Matthews. And
it's a useful thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the Matthews LB2 location baby bracket. Now there is. We said that there are a few software things. So two of them are from Adobe, basically, and Photoshop related. The first is something that is, I think, at least at the moment, only Photoshop beta. So it's called an adjustment brush. It's kind of cool. I mean, you can do all of that yourself, but everything that saves time,
Right.
some click presses or some presses or whatever. So basically, it's just it adds. Let's say you have an image, you add this brush, it adds a layer, and then you
An
have to choose
adjustment layer.
adjustment. Yeah, exactly, adjustment layer, and then you choose basically
What
which
to
sort
adjust.
of adjustment you want to
Yeah.
do. So at the moment, it has like brightness and contrast, exposure, vibrance, hue, black and white, and photo filter, like 5 or 6. I'm guessing that they will probably add more in the future. So you basically have the ability to choose with a brush any location on the image, make the adjustment, and highlight, brighten, whatever.
Yeah.
Change the. You can make like part of the image black and white, which is
Very
cool.
90s.
Yeah, I know. It could be cool for some images, or I'm not sure how the photo filter will work. Do you know what it means exactly?
Photo filters, so like you can add a warm filter, a cool filter, right? So for example, if you want to warm up the face, right? So you just do the adjustment brush.
No, but these are existing filters within Photoshop.
Yeah, you've had them always. Like in the adjustment layers.
I don't think that I use them. I use
I use
filters
them
within
on-
Camera Raw, but not within Photoshop.
No, I do that a lot of times. I'll
Oh, really?
finish working, editing an image, and it's just like the face just needs a little more color. I'll do that.
I
I'll do
need to
the.
try that. Okay.
But usually you would go to the layers. You would add a new adjustment layer. You would fill that with black, and
Yeah,
and
this
then
one is black.
and then
Oh, yeah.
choose the button, not the button, the brush tool, and then go over the face. So that's like 3 or 4 clicks. Here you just go to the brush, the adjustment brush, and it already creates the adjustment layer with a black mask, and then you start brushing.
Yeah, as
So
I said, it's not a revolutionary, groundbreaking in
But
any
it's
way.
nice.
It
My
saves time.
question is, why did we have to wait till 2024 for this?
There are a lot of questions like this. Okay, so that's the new adjustment brush, and there is another thing in Photoshop. This one I think is already existing in Photoshop, not the beta, the latest version of Photoshop. So this is the option to save presets of different adjustment layers to Photoshop. And I think that Glyn Dewis, the British photographer, he did a video about this. You can import and export them. Again, this is a time-saving sort of thing, I think mostly. But I think it will, if people would have like all sorts of like interesting adjustment layers presets, then they can either sell them or share them, and then you can import them. It can be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always up to like opening up things to other users, because if they can bring something that can be useful for you, why not? So that's pretty cool. If you want, watch the Glyn Dewis. I'll have the link below. Video. iFootage has something interesting that you wanted to look at, and these are two carbon fiber and aluminum tripods, travel tripods. Yeah, so they are relatively compact. I'm not sure if they are very like short, like when they're folded.
Yeah.
I think you tested the Ulanzi one. I think it's smaller when it's compact, when it's like folded. But iFootage have some pretty decent like build quality and some nice features. And this one, I think it's called what's the name? It's Gazelle something.
Is it?
TA3B and TC3B. That's the name.
One
the C is carbon. The A is for aluminum. They're tiny travel tripod, very small and light. I think 1.3, 1.5 kilograms, depending. Like the carbon is obviously lighter. It's a little bit shorter, I think, the carbon tripod.
They come with a very small fluid head.
Yeah, it's a K3 fluid head. We have the K5.
K5, yeah.
So this is even smaller. But it will fit the other ones.
You can also put the bigger one
on. Nice, it's a nice travel tripod. If we get it, you still have a few bags to review from iFootage, probably coming up in a future video. Neewer has new V-mount batteries, or actually it's a battery, not a family of batteries at the moment. It's a PS099E V-Mount Battery. It's $170, so around the same price as the KMTV and Small Rig and what else? ZG Cine. So all of them are about the same price. It's a 9 watt hour battery. It has the same, again, OLED screen and USB-C, USB-A, 12. I think it also has the 8 and 12 volt and
charge through USB-C.
Charge through USB-C. Yeah, they're all. It's the current technology, so everybody has them.
That's the new standard for it.
That's cool. So that's a nice thing. Osee, the Chinese monitor manufacturer, has a new device which is not a screen. It's called the Osee GoStream Deck.
Right.
I think the closest thing that I can put next to it is an ATEM Mini Pro, like
switcher.
It's basically what it does. It has like 4 HDMI inputs, 2 HDMI outputs, 2 USB-Cs, and again, like all the other devices at the moment,
no XLR.
No XLR. Now, more than I want to talk about this product on its own, because it's interesting. I've seen a video. I'll put some links to it in the description, in the article. I don't understand it. Can you understand why they're making these devices without proper audio inputs?
It beats me.
I don't get it. How difficult is it to add some 4 XLRs?
I know. I don't see the limitation. It's like whoever makes the first one, and then the similar products that come later, they just kind of copy that standard. We need XLRs. That would just make it an all-around product.
I mean, look at the environment that we are shooting right now. We're shooting this into 3 different cameras. and we're shooting. We are actually recording into the main camera, the wide angle camera, through an XLR adapter, Sony XLR adapter.
Mhm.
So what I wanted to say is basically that the idea with all this basically ATEM Mini and all these recorders, and that's true for Rode as well. Rode has the other way around. I mean, if you're looking at, you have the Blackmagic ATEM Mini series,
Yeah.
which are all HDMIs with no XLR, and then you have the Procaster Pro, whatever, the Rode recorders, which are audio recorders with 4 XLRs or 2 or whatever,
But no,
with XLRs, but no HDMI. Now, Rode did the first step, and they have like a unit which has 1 HDMI and 1 XLR, which I think shows what's coming.
promise. Yeah.
No, I think that the idea was to see how people would actually accept this,
Mhm.
and if they like it, they will come up with something bigger. Now NAB is coming,
Yeah.
so I would assume, and this is just an assumption, we will see in a few weeks, that Rode will show something in this area.
Mhm.
I'm hoping, because if they will, I'm definitely getting it for this setup. It will be great. But I know Blackmagic can do it as well, I'm sure. Just again, the other
Yeah.
way around. And companies like Osee, why not come up with HDMI and XLRs? So that's for now, that's the Osee GoStream Deck.
Mhm.
And now let's talk about some AI stuff. So I think that, well, OpenAI's Sora is probably, it's been around for like a week or two by the time that we're recording this. You've seen the videos, right?
Yeah.
That's, what do you think?
It's crazy. I really love the. Obviously, we're not. I mean, it's just a first step, but
It's still closed beta.
right. But at some point, and it's moving so fast, and we've talked about this so many times already. But within a year, 2 years, we're gonna see some really amazing things happening.
I think that even less than a year. I
mean, when it's mainstream and it's everybody can use it, but being able to just say, "Hey, I just need a shot for this," and like instead of going out on
I think that in the same way that AI killed or is killing the whole stock photo industry, this will fairly quickly kill all the stock video industry. I think that in a lot of cases, things like, I don't know, like drone shots where you just need the background or something nice, or who needs this anymore? I mean, after this will work well. Again, a year or something like that.
a drone shot from the past. That's the most amazing thing for now.
That can be really.
We talked about this in
the things that you can do with it, like for things that are completely impossible, basically, and definitely things which are impossible on any normal budget, like shots that I know. So I've seen there are a lot of videos about this, and you can see the footage on the OpenAI website. They have some examples, also some funny examples on what doesn't work at the moment. Like what I think they had this person running backwards on a treadmill.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah,
The puppies blossoming that one out of another.
Yeah,
that was some.
That was pretty cool, actually. But yeah, and it has some issues. I mean, I've looked at this very realistic image of a woman walking, I think, in Tokyo or something like looks like Tokyo, and in the background there is a person that looks like pretty creepy. And if you look at her legs, they're also not 100% human. But MKBHD did a video about this. I watched it, and he showed what video AI was just a year ago.
Yeah.
And the difference is like night and day.
Yeah,
so just think about how this would look in a year. It's insane. I know what to say about all of this, but it's happening whether we like it or not.
You just gotta learn how to
embrace it somehow.
Embrace it and make it part of your workflow, because the whole talk about like who's gonna need a videographer in a couple of years,
No,
that's silly. But if we are able to put that, just like I'm working on a production or post production, right?
and you
I'm
need
and I just need a specific close up of something, right? It'd be so easy to just give me, the brick wall and something and
I
a
think what
clock
will
on
be
it.
really interesting is being able to give it a reference.
That's what I'm waiting for. I
And
want you to match this face, this figure, this
not just
texture,
this will take
whatever.
some time, but I'm thinking just lighting and color, like color temperature
Yeah,
and
even
lighting.
that. It's like
Because if you have like
take this room and in this scene with this lighting,
do
give
this,
me a cat running around. That I mean,
actually that can be
you know
amazing.
what I'm saying? Like you already have everything. It's not like
Wow.
you're cutting corners. You did the
No, that
production, everything's there. You just want a shot of some specific, right?
wow,
And
that can be
matching it,
amazing.
stock would never be able to do that.
No, no,
Be,
this is a fantastic concept because let's say that we want to add. I know. I even want to add some. I know something coming into the shot in here.
you're right.
So you giving it the shot. I don't know. I'm thinking that the like Blackmagic and Premiere and like the other like editor companies or
Mm-hmm.
the actual editing companies can add it because they're working on AI as well. So
Right.
that can be interesting. But that's coming. So that's the OpenAI Sora still in beta. I'm not sure when, like closed beta. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure when anybody is going to get the open beta or to the actual final. Do you remember how much time it took them with the stills side of things?
A few months probably.
So probably by the middle, sort of close to the end of the year, we'll be able to play with it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing. Now this is another AI thing, and this is I think a startup, but from what I understand, they raised quite a bit of money. It's called Strada AI. It's a sort of a video helper technology. It does a lot of things. I won't be able to mention all of them. You should watch the video. They did this very impressive presentation with like actual video team and shooting. I'm thinking that their main target audience is like production, like bigger production companies that work
Yeah.
on film or high end commercials and work with like big teams that needs a lot of editors. But and they have all sorts of aspects like taking the footage in real time from the cameras into the cloud and all that. This aspect personally doesn't interest me at all. I have enough. Our workflow doesn't require us to work in real time with teams and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. No, I don't care about that. But what did interest me about their presentation is another thing. They have a transcribe aspect of their software, which is like DaVinci and Premiere has now. But they have a feature which I find very interesting, and that is basically understanding the transcription, and by using this understanding, finding how they call it, they call it analysis. So let's say that you have a scene, long scene, and in minute 5 of that scene you have a teddy bear, a child coming into the scene with a teddy bear. It will understand. I know how. I think it's more than just the transcription because even if you don't say anything, I'm guessing.
So it analyzes the visuals and
I, I'm not. I'm
keywords.
not. I'm not 100% sure about that. It definitely analyzes the. No, actually, I think it analyzes the visuals because they mention what they mentioned as an example. I don't think that
Because you were talking about that drone footage.
let's
There's
say that
no
you have they
talk
mentioned
there.
something like this, that you have a 40-minute drone footage and you have 10 seconds of a segment where you have a bridge in the segment. Now if you're a video editor and you got that footage and you have no idea where the bridge
You have to watch the
you have
whole
to
thing.
scribe like go over the entire thing, maybe even fast, but still you need to go over the entire thing. If you have like 20 videos like this where you have to find all sorts of stuff, it takes forever. So in this sort of situation, you get, I'll show on the screen how this is visually represented in their presentation. You should watch the entire thing if you like it. But you see like dots and lines. Like dot represent like a short segment in the timeline, and a line obviously that this object, let's say a bridge in whatever, or a teddy bear, exists in the scene. So they have like a million things that in the scene that they have like a dinosaur, like an animal and a costume and a person, and like it's very detailed. I was kind of surprised by how many. It wasn't like a person and house and skies or whatever. It was quite a lot of things, and obviously it will grow as they develop this. So that can be very 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 useful.
Absolutely.
Now again, if this will only be available in their software and their service, I know it will probably be pretty expensive. And again, it's marketed mostly, I think, towards high-end like teams and stuff. But in Premiere, I would really like it, and I guess that you will like it in DaVinci as well. So it's probably will come at some point.
That's in editing, especially if you're working, if you're editing somebody else's footage, or you're giving your footage to an editor. Having to look through what's there, that takes hours, right?
Yeah,
So if you can pinpoint, I need that scene with the bridge, type bridge, and it analyzes it.
Yeah, no, I'm for text you already have this,
right? But
yeah,
there's stuff that's
for just visual, for sure. So that's interesting. So that's the Strada AI video helper. I'll put the link in the text below and in the article. This thing is, well, we actually talked about this a couple of times before, and we mentioned similar products, but this one has, something that I wanted, so I wanted to mention this. This is called the JSAUX. I don't know how to pronounce this. JSAUX, whatever.
JS auxiliary. I don't know. JS. Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, that's not it.
FlipGo. It's another dual monitor thing, and there are a ton of them right now. What's nice about this, I always mention that I want an VESA mount on these, and this one sort of solves this issue because it doesn't have a VESA mount built in, but it has magnets on the back, and it comes, I think, with, or you can purchase it separately, I'm not sure, but basically a VESA to magnet sort of thing. Yeah. And then you can place it on a VESA, and that's pretty cool. So it weighs, I think, 1.1 kilograms. So it's very light for a dual monitor. I don't remember the size. I didn't write it. I'll write it on the screen and show it's a Kickstarter project. Yeah, it's a Kickstarter project. So another one of those.
Yeah, there's been, I guess it's a growing segment or something. There's more and more of those popping
it's
up.
definitely useful. I can see, using it on the go for people who needs this. And there is this, this is kind of a complicated thing. I've seen this on CineD. CineD has this video from one of the most recent expos, I'm not sure where. It's called the Lightcraft Jetset, excuse me, Jetset Virtual Production, and the whole thing is basically it's around an app on an iPhone, and so basically what you do here, regular virtual productions are, we've talked about this in the previous video. They're becoming easier, but they're still kind of complicated, especially the tracking aspect. Now, what they're doing here is that the tracking is done by the phone, by the iPhone, the app basically on the iPhone. And you connect it, you mount it on your rig. So you have a cage and you sort of mount it on it. You do some calibration, but supposedly it's relatively simple. But after you do it, you can do a virtual production. And the demonstration that they've showed in the expo was of a girl like drilling or whatever into like adding a car plate into a virtual car. So
Right.
on the set, on the actual set where they're shooting, it was like an Apple box with a blue, what do you call it, blue screen.
Right.
I'm not sure why they didn't use green, but whatever, like green, blue screen. And she drilled into that. But what you could actually see in sort of real time was
She's putting
superimposed on that was an actual like car,
no.
and it looks really nice. So that's a cool concept. Um, I still think that what we are looking for is basically for Sony, Canon, whatever, to come up with either,
Tracking.
yeah, either tracking. I'm not sure if it's possible to do the tracking in the camera itself or
Well,
if you need another camera.
it can be an add-on, like the light. What do you
The
call it?
LiDAR.
LiDAR
Yeah.
add-on.
But why can't the camera itself do the tracking with?
Because it doesn't have geo positioning. The iPhone has all kinds of, well, cameras now do have a little bit, but the
You need
iPhone, the
more.
reason it has a gyroscope, it has geo positioning, it has all these things that are built in, and the app just
I don't see a reason why they
not
can
to put
add
that
these
in.
to a camera,
No, they could.
especially to a video camera. I mean,
Uh,
we talked about Red and Nikon, so
exactly.
maybe
That's
they
the way
can
to
put
go.
all the virtual production in the camera. There are big cameras; it's not a problem to
Right.
add some stuff into them.
But also, if you had an external unit that just connects,
Yeah. So, but I would like to see Sony itself and Canon and whatever coming
absolutely.
up with
I mean,
solutions.
that's the next frontier for video production.
If you ask me, the first company that will do it will be DJI.
Oh yeah, I would not doubt that.
Yeah, I mean it's the easiest for them to do it. I think, like, no brainer. So that's the Lightcraft whatever
Jet set, yeah.
Jetset production. I'll put Cinedy had a video on that. I'll put it in the description. There is. Last time we didn't do a Godox product,
Yeah.
so this time around we have one.
Yeah.
Almost in almost every video LensVid Talk that we have a Godox product. Not because we want to, but because there is one.
There's just a billion.
Yeah. So now they have, this is a very small one. It's called the VSM-BO or B01. It's basically a desk-mounted arm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on its own, there is a million of those, but I sort of like the design. It's like you have a pole, and then you have, I think, a 2-axis articulating part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I looked at the website at the Godox. I'll talk to them, but I didn't find the weight, the max capacity of this arm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. But I've seen an example of somebody using it, and he used a 16 centimeter tube light, and those are pretty heavy. So that's interesting. I'm guessing maybe even a small camera, but definitely like heavy microphones will work, and small to small mid lights can also work. So it's basically a good arm if you're doing like tabletop things that can work. And for this setup, for example, we have a table here. Now this I don't want to talk too much about this because something is coming, but at the moment it's kind of hideous. But the idea is if we get it, we can use it on the table and use the arms like this.
Yeah,
can work. Again, it's all about the capacity. I'm not sure what the max capacity of this. I'll ask Godox and we'll see. So that's it's not very expensive. I think that's another point. So that's the Godox VSM-B01 desk-mounted boom arm. The last product, or not product, the last thing that I want to discuss is something that it's basically a video that his name is always makes me funny. Potato Jet. Yeah. The name of the guy is I'm probably butchering this, but Gene Nagata. Yeah. He's a great guy. It looks like I don't know him personally, but he looks like a funny guy. And he did a very interesting interview with Oscar Oscar award-winning Oscar photographer, a cinematographer, basically, called Claudio Miranda. This guy did, his history is amazing. He did. He used to be, before he was a cinematographer, he was a gaffer. So he was one of the gaffers, or the main gaffer, I'm not sure, for Fight Club, which is like a classic, yeah. And for Seven, I don't know if you watched Seven.
Of course.
Oh,
Same
area, yeah. So he was the gaffer back then, and then he became a cinematographer, and I think he won the Oscar for Life of Pi. Did you watch that?
Oh, it was a beautiful movie.
So that's and of course, besides that, he didn't win an Oscar for that,
He was
Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, okay.
So, and Tron and Oblivion and a bunch of other. Yeah. He's a big shot.
I've never heard his name though.
I know. I mean, for people in the industry, who
he's the director of photography.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's basically the photographer of the main photographer, because obviously sometimes they have more than one. But yeah, so the talk was around. I think it's really worth, if you're interested, go and watch the whole thing. I'll put some short bits out of it, but the main gist of this was that he shot a recent, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was a movie with an iPhone. And we already talked about shooting like high-end stuff with the iPhone. Apple did it for the launch of, what was that? The latest, I think.
Launch they did.
Yeah, it's no longer the latest, but yeah, they now have an Air, M3 Air. That they announced
the big launch
of the M3
presentation that they had.
Yeah. So they shot the whole thing on an iPhone 15. And he shot, again, a movie or whatever on an iPhone 15. And it was interesting, how such a high-end director like this, or not director, cinematographer like this, moves from whatever he is like used to, Ari or whatever he's shooting it with, to something like an iPhone. And I think that he shows some behind the scenes footage. And again, you again see all these very complex rigs that are used naturally on set on big productions, but instead of like the big camera, you have the iPhone. Now, he asked him, I think, what was the biggest difference, and he said that the biggest difference was actually just using less amount of lenses than he's used to on the big cameras. So here he had only like 3 lenses, the iPhone lenses basically, and there he has like 6, 7, whatever. Like he can get whatever lens he wants. So that's a difference. For example, can you add anamorphic somehow to?
Well, they have add-on lenses for iPhone that are anamorphic and macro, and there's a whole line.
I think he personally, he didn't mention that he used them, so at least maybe I missed something in the video, but I don't think that he uses them. But yeah, that's interesting. But I'm just thinking, aside from the gimmick of it, okay, it's new. He wanted to test something. Why do it? What's the point? I mean, it's not better than using.
It's not better.
It's less expensive. He doesn't care about that.
Exactly not in that.
Not in that level of production. So why?
I think it's more of a personal challenge.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
I mean, if you wanted to,
maybe Apple sponsored it, but I know
that's beside the point. Yeah. If you wanted to downsize, then you could do it, but you're still using the big rigs, the big cranes, the big things. So
I don't think it matters in the production, even a tiny bit. The rigs, everything, the crew, it's the same size. You don't change anything. Yeah, you have a tiny thing instead of a large thing in the.
It's actually probably more work for like
because you need to make sure that
how do you even put that on? You have a big tripod. How do you
It
need
has,
specialty
yeah,
grip for
yeah.
a small item like
There
this,
is,
right?
there is.
So it's like I think it's just a challenge thing.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
see.
the only reason I can think of.
Remember back in the day when they shot the first movie or whatever
What
on
on iPhone?
mirrorless cameras,
Oh, okay.
and it was like, wow, yeah, we don't have to use the big ones, but it never caught on. Nobody's. I mean, there's
No, I'm
the
sure that
FX,
there are like
the
indie
FX3,
movies shot on
right?
everything,
No, but
and
FX3 is now a legitimate
the,
Netflix support
yeah, but I don't think it's an
endorsed.
A camera for most Netflix
But
shot.
that's what I'm
It
saying.
can be a B or C camera, but
That's what I'm saying. When it first happened, you would think, well, now everybody can do it. Well,
yeah,
not everybody's doing it. It happens sometimes.
yeah,
And still, how old are mirrorless cameras now?
yeah,
When the creator, that movie came out in 2023, it was a big deal that it was shot on FX3.
yeah.
Not because you can do it, because everybody agrees that you can do it even on an iPhone, but because you can.
It was,
It looks great. It's a
yeah,
great movie. It's a great looking movie.
yeah.
I don't know about everything else, but it's a great looking movie with a simpler rig.
Yeah.
So if you can do that with pull that off with a iPhone, more power to you. But it's not like
No,
everybody's gonna
I
be
don't
doing
think that
that.
it's going to change the industry in any way. It's going to change maybe the way that regular people shoot videos, and maybe even to some degree how like lower level professionals shoot.
Maybe inspirational to other people
Yeah.
that have made an excuse for not
No,
having
that
a.
it will make the ability to create fantastic videos even more accessible than it is right now. It is already accessible, but
And if we can move to internal ProRes, not ProRes,
what?
now with the news of Nikon buying Red, and
Okay.
maybe that whole codec is going to be
That's
open up for
that's
everybody.
we talked about this on the previous one, but the whole thing was that Nikon said that the whole idea of making this thing of the patent was more encompassing.
Yeah,
So it's not just ProRes or whatever. It was like the whole concept of, I don't know, recording and shrinking, whatever.
the whole concept of putting a patent on something that's just a
Yeah,
technology that everybody has.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it made
it's
no
like
sense, and we will have to see if Nikon will continue this and sue other companies for doing this, or they will say,
interesting. Well, they'll
from
just
now on everybody can
if
use
they
it.
can license it out to others and they can just make money off of it, then why not? And then you can have, because Apple Log is now available,
Yeah,
and if you can have Apple Log with ProRes, and that is all going to an external SSD, then you can really put some big footage on there. Then yeah, you can shoot
we
some
we talked
video.
about the AV1 on the previous
Yeah,
LensVid talk. That's another angle, and we will see. But that's the potato
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 jet.
jet Claudio Miranda interview. It's
Mm,
worth checking out. It's a really interesting interview and a really interesting cinematographer.
mm.
So I think that's everything that we have
So
for
we
you
got
today. Don't forget to subscribe and
check out the website.
exactly. And we'll see you as always in the next video.
It's coming.
Bye.
Bye.
And have everything in sync. We have a mosquito here, apparently. No, but we have everything synced in, like the audio and the video already.
It's
Where-
sitting on the lens now.
Seriously?
Sorry.
We have a
The
disturbance in the force. Or 3 files. Still the mosquito? Where is it?
I'm not gonna say it.
Is a device that can do both.
Hang on.
I just lost it.
Need some water.